This video is sponsored by Squarespace.
So we have a problem. The problem is that it snowed like crazy. Yesterday, you know, it was like getting a little bit cold. The day before was our first freeze of the year, and the day before that was the first frost. The day before that we were eating fresh strawberries and enjoying dahlia bouquets in our house. And now it's a winter wonderland. That is a problem because we slacked off and enjoyed the beautiful weather instead of doing all of our fall work that needed to get done. And now it's winter and it's hard to do fall work in the winter. The snow is supposed to melt, but as soon as it melts, we're gonna get a really hard freeze that will freeze the ground and make it so we can't plant things. So now we have this like 20-hour window between when the snow melts and before it freezes, where we have to plant all of our peonies, all of our daffodils, and prep the ground for our tulips. So it's gonna be busy. What do you think, Dusty? What do you guys think? Behind me is where the peonies are gonna get planted, and as you can tell, there's a lot of work to do. It's covered in snow. It is not prepped. Ian started to do some work on it yesterday, but he only kind of did the easy part. There's rocks that need to be picked somewhere underneath that snow. There's trees, these nasty weed trees. This thing like sends down a million babies. There's tons of that has to be dug out with the axe. It's a lot of work, and all of the snow is going to make it more difficult. It's 11 o'clock now. They're saying noon. It should turn into rain, but it's hard to trust the weather. So fingers crossed we can get this prepped today. We can get things planted tomorrow. It's going to be busy.
Well, that didn't last very long. I got, this far in. This trailer is not moving at all in the snow. It's just spinning one tire and there's too much resistance. It can't get down into the ground. There's no way I'm gonna be able to till with this much snow. I'm gonna just have to go in there and try to hand dig out all the stumps move all the piles as best I can. This, you know, we were already super tight for time, and now I don't even know what we're gonna do.
At this point, it's not feeling very likely that things are gonna go the way we want them to. I just checked the weather. It's not supposed to be as warm as I was saying. It's looking like maybe it's just gonna be snow all day. And if it's snow all day, then, you know, it's gonna, I don't know that the snow is gonna melt. The peonies, we've come up with worst case scenario, we can pot them. The peonies we can pot up, we can do that inside, stick them outside, they can live in pots for the winter, we can plant them in the spring. It's not ideal, they do a lot better getting into the ground now. But the daffodils are a non-negotiable. The daffodils have to get into the ground or else all that money that we spend on them is a complete waste. The job isn't a massive job, so, you know, I'm feeling confident we can get that done at least. But man, the weather's crazy this year.
Hello, hello puppy. Hello. Oh, more people, more people.
More people.
More
So
people,
exciting.
more people, more people, more people. Oh, that's so exciting. Are you getting snowballs? Oh my god. Oh my god, you want that so bad. You want that so bad.
This is all I can reach him. He's like, oh, I hope that this guy should say hi to me too.
Oh, I'd say hi. I'd say hi. Hello.
He's like, no, throw snowballs.
So how's this fall bulb planting going?
It's going poorly because it's too cold.
Very cold out.
And I'm worried about the bulbs freezing. I've been waiting for you to come home to fill in this ditch.
Yeah.
I will say this, my hands are like freezing, but when they're in the ditch, my hand in the ditch is actually, like, down in the ditch is obviously a little bit warmer, but like we're racing the clock. I put a couple crates back, so this isn't all of it, but I think 4. I have like 4 of the crates, so more than half.
That you've already put in.
Yeah, but the trench needs to get filled in.
That's pretty good.
So, but I also checked the weather, and it's gonna be like -14. So
Tonight?
like the next week, it's like -14. Like it's the middle of winter. Like that's like
As cold as it's supposed to be.
that's as cold as it ever gets. So I don't know. I mean, we have the trench made. We have to plant the tulips, but worst case scenario, we get the compost to plant the tulips. So worst case scenario, we can also get the compost to fill the trench, you know, and do it like a little bit at a time so it's not freezing. But, okay.
Not ideal.
I know. We're racing the clock. Last bit of light. So, no more filming. We gotta get to it.
At least we got this bestest boy.
I know. We got this sweet boy who loves snowballs.
He's just a puppy.
He's very adorable.
Give him a snowball.
I know, it's worth crying about. Oh, oh, good job, you got it.
You got it.
You got it.
You
good
got
job.
it. Okay, my hands are too cold to operate cameras. Time to go get dressed for this outside weather and help you out. Later, nameless puppy. Goodbye, nameless puppy.
We're racing against live video.
You gonna attack the mic? What do you think of the winter? It's almost been 2 weeks since we tried to get those peonies planted earlier, and the snow is still here. But this week we're finally gonna have some warmer weather, and we want to take advantage of it. So yesterday I went and picked up some wood for the raised beds, And today I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna do a little bit of tilling and some dirt moving. We're gonna get the raised beds all set up so we can plant the tulips when we get the opportunity. And then I think the weather is gonna improve later this week as well, to the point where we're gonna be able to get those peonies in the ground. So we're trying it. We're trying it again. This is it basically is now or never. It's now or it doesn't happen until next spring. So we're gonna make it happen. Well, here's the beautiful weather. There's still snow on the ground, and it is also still snowing. But you know, it was like this yesterday as well, and it warmed up. So this is what $500 worth of lumber looks like right now. You know, our idea is that we're gonna put these raised beds together, and then in the spring, once we're done with them, we're gonna take them apart and we're just gonna put them in storage, and then, you know, next fall we'll put them back together. So it's not like they're gonna be sitting outside all the time. Hopefully that gives them a little bit more of a lifespan and gives us a little bit more bang for our buck. So right here is where 2 of the beds are going. I'm gonna till this up a bunch. The temperature is above freezing, but not by much. The warmer days are still yet to come in the week, but you know, it's supposed to kind of stay above freezing during the day and kind of close to freezing at night. You know, this is going to be a slow and painful journey to get all of these tulips and peonies planted, but progress is exciting. You know, in a lot of ways, the cold Canadian winters have shaped my work ethic. I know that sounds kind of like a weird statement, but follow me here. So when I was a young adult, I kind of lucked pretty quickly after finishing school into this forestry work that, you know, paid really well for the time, and kind of it would eventually become my career. You know, before we did all this YouTube and farming stuff, I had like heavy equipment and I ran chainsaw, and a lot of that work was centered around the winter because certain areas of Canada are very remote and you need the cold weather to be able to, you know, build roads through all these like soft marshy areas. So I worked a lot of really cold winter days. If it was minus 40, you know, we might not work, but if it was minus 35, we were definitely working. You'd be out there working in it all day, and you know, you might not have the ability to go back to a vehicle, right? You were just outside for, you know, the entirety of the shift, and so you had to learn how to dress for the weather, right? You wanted it to be so if you're standing still, you were a bit cold, right? And then that meant that if you were working, you could kind of like get hot, you could work hard, and you just work indefinitely all day long, right? If you stop to warm up, then you'll just get colder because you'll have to get moving again, right? So just work hard. So I kind of think that the cold weather always went hand in hand with hard work, right? When you're dressed for it, you get outside and all you can do is work, right? You literally can't stand around. So, you know, I just thought that was something that I was just thinking about right now, because it's ridiculous that we're planting tulips in the cold, but I'm glad that we got a chance to at least get this job done, right? These are going to be the simplest raised beds that I've ever built, right? So the purpose of these is just to hold the tulips until the spring, and then we're going to take them apart. You know, they're going to be 50 feet long. I'm just going to join them with these pieces of scrap wood. That's what I was getting that for. Very simple, right? I'm just going to build a simple little box, and we're going to put some hardware cloth inside of it to protect from the voles, and then we're going to put a little bit of compost on top of that hardware cloth. plant the bulbs, and then fill it all in with compost. And the idea is it's going to save us so much time in the spring, because a huge amount of the labor of this like massive tulip harvest is actually pulling them out of the ground, right? So anything that can save us, you know, a handful of seconds every single time is worth a lot of labor. Plus, it's like the labor that I'm doing right now, you know, I'm not going to be doing anything else productive for the farm right now. So it gives me something to do at a different time of the year to make it easier for the busiest time of year, you know, that tulip rush, right?
We have the daffodils done. The daffodils were the emergency, the #1 priority. We had a plan for what we could do with the peonies. We could either plant them in if it warmed up, or worst case scenario, we could plant them into pots. It's almost December now, and we have been waiting weeks and weeks for that window to know what is possible. And, you know, that window is disappearing. But seems like we have it. We have 5 days of nice weather. This is our moment. This is when we need to get the ground prepped. This is when we need to get the landscape fabric down. This is when we need to burn the holes. We need to get the peonies planted. There's a lot of work to do. But with the two of us working together, you know, really having our focus on these peonies, I think there's a good chance that we're going to be able to get this done and, you know, kind of achieve what we weren't sure was going to be possible. We've recognized the fact that we are not going to be able to do 75 feet. We have only 50 feet depth beds prepped. That is fine. We can plant 50 feet, leave 25 feet of landscape fabric, and come spring, prep that. This is workable. I have 175 of the unicorn bloom peony roots. They're the big, beautiful ones. Then I have 200 of these like tiny little pathetic looking ones. They're gonna be really easy to pot up. So doing 50 feet times 4, lots of space to get all the unicorn blooms in. Those smaller ones, we pot them up, not a problem. And then it's gonna be not a massive job in the spring, you know, but easier to do in the spring. I'm feeling really positive about actually getting this done.
Nighttime comes quickly when, you know, you're almost in December. So I've run out of daylight. I got the bottom area tilled twice, and every time I till it, I kind of do an overlapping pass. So it's really like everywhere I kind of got 4 tills. So that's pretty good. Everything was breaking up relatively nice. The ground wasn't frozen down there. It had thawed. The other morning, it was getting pretty hard on the crust. So it's like, oh no, you know, are we gonna miss our opportunity? But nope, it's all prepped there. I just gotta rake it flat tomorrow. And then we'll be ready to put the landscape fabric down. And then we can burn the holes to plant the peonies in. And then we can get that job crossed off the list. That will be, you know, very exciting to do, to get that done. Because I wasn't sure if we're gonna be able to this year. There you go. Looks pretty good, right? Kind of just looks like dirt, not snow mixed with dirt. So mission accomplished. I would just like to take a moment before I call it quits for the night to point out the fact that tilling in the snow is ridiculous, and we fully recognize that this is a ridiculous thing that we're doing. And you know, it's just kind of, we got caught by circumstances and we're just trying to get it done. But I'm sure lots of people are like, you guys are ridiculous, you know, like watching us in this video right now. And you know, I'm in agreement with you. I'm on your side. Okay, time to park this bad boy for the night. Let's bring this up to the shop.
Ian has been working hard on getting this space prepped up. And so now at this point, we are gonna lay down the landscape fabric. We have 6-foot landscape fabric because we're doing 6-foot beds, and we need 4 of these in total. Well, we got the fabric down, but this is moving a lot slower than I expect it would. The mud it's like mucky and wet. It's heavy work. It's really tiring to be like moving around in it. So I was hopeful we'd be able to get this entire job done in 2 days, but it's definitely looking like it's gonna be more like, 3.
I really want to burn things.
We're in the danger zone now. Like, show off your toy.
we're in the action. So we spent like an entire day trying to figure out how we're gonna make these holes. I've watched these videos for like years and years of people being like, oh yeah, you just get these torches and you just like draw these little holes on the landscape fabric, super easy. People make it look amazing. And then I go to do it and my torch like is like, oh, I put it upside down, it turns off, like does not work. And I'm like, what is going on? Why is no one else saying that there's something wrong with their torch and you have to get a special tool? I was like, is this a Canadian problem? Do they make these differently in America? And the answer is maybe they do, because we ended up having to buy a new torch, one that has this little special curve on it, which makes it so that you can use this tool upside down. It's a little bit more expensive than the torches we'd been using, and we had to go to multiple stores in order to find one in stock, but we now have the tool that we've needed for years and years, which makes me very happy, because literally it's caused me like mental unhealth. Being like,
Play with fire.
it makes this like whoop whoop sound, which I really like too. But yes, we're in a room full of dried flowers, and it's tempting.
No, it's not tempting at all.
So let's go outside and get to work. Oh, how far away to make these catch on fire, but not the rest of it? You're not even a little bit tempted?
You can take it outside and try. No! 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 Stop that.
So there's a few ranunculus that we didn't pull out, and now things are dying back so that I can see them. And I'm really interested in, can ranunculus survive the winter? I suspect ranunculus is a lot more cold hardy than people think it is. It's just really susceptible to rotting. So even though we're cold here, the fact that we're on a sand pit and we don't really get very much water ever means I think we could probably just plant ranunculus in the fall and not have to worry about all the pre-spreading and everything. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Get it out of your system. How did that make you feel?
Good.
Are you happy with that?
Yeah, that's fine. That's good. Turned out well. Are you happy?
Yeah, and I think that'll be like a big enough hole, right?
Yeah, I think that should be good.
And then like the next one, then I find the next marker. But for this, I'm doing it on this one. Right? Right?
Yep. Happy with that?
I want you to be happy with that.
Yeah, I think that it looks good.
Like you're comfortable with it looking like that.
I think it's good, big enough that we can get the shovel in it, and it looks fine.
Yeah.
Looks like a circle.
And the little bit of shredded stuff that'll work
matter.
its way out over the years.
So you're ready to go?
Let's do it. I got this beautiful weather. Might as well take advantage of this freezing rain.
Yeah, this is the break in weather that we've been waiting for. This
I know.
wet snow.
If only it was beautiful like this every day, we'd be able to get so much done.
Okay, at the end you gotta tell me which one's the perfect circle.
I don't know. I feel like they're getting better as I go. The first one was pretty good though.
Yeah, it started hot.
But it wasn't big enough.
Yeah.
more of like a 10-incher. We're going for 12-inch.
What are you imagining?
I'm imagining just a wall of peonies. It's gonna be really exciting to, like, you know, every year down here is just gonna be like a little bit better.
It's not as warm out anymore. The sun has gone down. It's getting dark. The breeze is getting colder, but I still have some work to do. I have to admit that Serina did a really good job down here, cutting all these holes for the peonies and landscape fabric. The holes look very circular and very orderly. I always am a bit more concerned about the aesthetics of things that, you know, maybe don't actually matter that much. But it's nice to see, you know, everything work out so good, and that new tool allowed Serina to do it relatively fast, although her hand was freezing cold by the end of it, so she was happy to get it done. Now the plan is she's inside, you know, doing all that stuff, and I'm out here to work until we're gonna dig out all these holes, basically. We're gonna get this all prepped, so tomorrow all we gotta do, you know, come in together, she puts one in place, maybe we, you know, have to expand the hole a little bit, but basically it's already dug, you know, then I can fill it in around it, move on to the next one. We just tag team them, right? But that means that tonight I gotta get this all dug, and I still have to fill in the trenches for the daffodils as well. So I got a lot of work, you know. I'm gonna be working into the darkness tonight. Our window is very quickly closing. We have tomorrow that's above zero, and then we start to get that freezing temperatures back, and so that means that whatever we're gonna get done, we got to get it done soon. You know, while I was digging these holes, I had a uniquely Canadian experience out, you know, in the darkness, digging in the snow, right? And then I turned on the radio, and they're doing like this radio show where they play an entire album. And tonight it was an old Leonard Cohen album. So I'm listening to like literal Leonard Cohen B-sides while I'm, you know, digging this area. I'm like, oh, this is so Canadian, right? This is turning into a pretty big task. We've been working at it for a little while now, and we're not even halfway done. We're getting close to halfway. I got all the holes dug out a little deeper so that, you know, it's easy to put the roots in. And then Serina's just plugging away, putting stuff in the ground.
It's coming.
Slow but steady.
You know, it's a lot. It's a lot of big peonies to plant, right?
Yeah.
You know, doing 200, you know, like I said, doing 175, if it only takes a minute, that's 3 hours. And it's not surprising for it to be taking more than a minute each.
Yeah, like look at the size of some of these, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
Here, hand for scale.
yeah,
They're
and they're
massive.
they're a bit brittle, right? So you have to be gentle with them.
Yeah. The other thing about peonies is that you gotta be careful when you're planting them. You know, this is kind of the top of the plant, right? All these roots, you know, are underground, but this is like where the plant needed to be. And if you bury the top too deep, then it won't sprout. But I'm also like, oh, they're sprouting maybe more than they should be if I would have had them into the colder ground. So I'm worried about, you know, these tips kind of getting sad while they're planting, you know, so it's a struggle to make sure that I'm paying attention enough to plant it properly.
Have fun. A little bit of time has passed, and we got all the big ones in the ground. We just have one little run of the smaller peonies to still plant, so I'm just up here at the outbuilding grabbing those now. I'm gonna bring them down, and then we're gonna finish off this peony planting. Here they are. How are you? How are you feeling?
Very cold, painfully cold. But we have all of the unicorn bloom peonies planted, and we have 21 holes. So we're down here, we're putting in some of our smaller ones. These should go fast. So soon I get to go inside and warm up.
These ones are tiny in comparison.
Yeah, these will be easy.
Like, look at this.
They're this big.
Yeah.
Not very hard. This is like put all the dirt back in and then do it. They all were this easy.
We would have been done long ago.
Yeah.
We had to redig the holes because they were so big.
I know.
Okay. You're cold. I'm going to put this camera down and help you finish.
Okay.
You feel better to be somewhere warm?
It will eventually. I'm not made for this, working when it's freezing out.
Another task that's important to get done, building your business's website. Squarespace gives people a powerful and beautiful online platform from which to create your website. Connect with your audience and generate revenue through gated members-only content. Manage your members, send email communications, and leverage audience insights, all on one easy-to-use platform. Or create a community with their powerful blogging tools. Or use Squarespace extensions to manage inventory, promote products, and streamline bookkeeping. Or simply display posts from your social profiles. Honestly, the options feel limitless. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/youcaneatthegrass to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.